Welcome to yoga time with Kelsey. So, um, get yourself cozy. Have a mat or a blanket or something, or just be on carpet. Um, I've got a candle. I've got some tea. I have a pillow, and let's stretch out. Um, so this is for you, Kimmy. Don't mind my dirty feet. It's basically still like camp feet. Um, so to address the hips and the pelvic floor is really what we're addressing today, and starting to um, open up those spaces that I'm sure the muscles have been clenching tight and there's scar tissue and things like that. And so we're going to just start with just simple. Um, and then as you start there, we can your body will slowly begin to open up in the ways that you want it to feel. So first things first, we're just going to do a simple forward fold. So, and by no means is there any expectation of how foldy we get here. So the main point here, I want you to bring your feet as wide apart as is comfortable for you. So that's, if that's here, that's great. If that's right here, that's fine. But just wherever like you start to kind of feel that inner tension towards in on the inner thighs, that's where I want you to kind of find that spot, find that place. And then once you find that place, um, I want you to point the toes up towards the sky. So find your spot, whether it's in between here or legs out. And then I'll turn this way to show the way we want our spine to forward fold. So first off, as we find that spot with our legs, we want to point the toes up towards the sky. Come onto our bottom, and you want to lift yourself up and really make sure that your hip bones are sinking down into your mat. Sometimes our lower back is tight and it's like curling, and then so the bottom of your sit bones are kind of pointing outwards, and we don't want that. We want the sit bones to be down into the ground. So sometimes just kind of lifting up, even moving that buttock space, out of the way and feeling that really sink down. If you're having a hard time getting that feeling, a pillow is wonderful. And that's where you can kind of bring it underneath you, and you can sit up a little bit taller to help those sit bones face down into the ground. So where the sit bones are is extremely important and has everything to do with how much of a stretch and an opening we get in this pose. So legs as far apart as is comfortable. Toes pointing up, meaning your feet are energized. We want our hip bones or our sit bones to be down into our mat, not curled and pointing this away. We want them down into the mat. So from this place, sometimes all we need to do is sit right here. Just a nice straight spine. You can bring those hands to heart center and kind of pull the shoulders down and away from the chest and let that chest open up. You can take a breath and just kind of let that head fall back. And take a couple breaths there. And then if you're feeling that you want to move forward at all or deepen the stretch, we have to lead forward with that heart space. So we're not going to cave into the back at all. We're going to keep that nice straight spine. And then as we come down, we'll move nice and slowly, keeping that spine nice and straight and getting that maximum stretch from the backs of the legs all the way up through. So if you'd like to reach with the arms, you can always take a deep breath up, lifting the arms up high, and then exhale, just dropping them wherever they fall. So whether it's to the legs or to the knees or the thighs or the toes, wherever you are. We just want to keep a nice straight spine. And we'll take deep belly breaths here. So try to breathe deep into your belly. Feel that space get created in the lower body. And it's kind of pressing down through the hips, through the pelvic floor on those big inhales. And as we exhale, we can feel that create some more space for us. So we can kind of sink in a little bit deeper. So still keeping the back nice and straight, but just taking those deep inhales and exhales. So it's important, especially when we're doing unlocking like we are in this situation, that we do the pose, so like a forward fold like this, for about a minute or two at the very least. If you could push it to like 3 minutes, that would be ideal for the muscles. But the biggest points to take away here are the deep breathing while in the pose and the alignment. So as we're finishing up there, we want to slowly move out of the pose. So we just gently kind of move our hands back. We can probably feel some of that tension release. And we can gently shake out our legs. You can lean back into your hands and just move your legs from side to side in that windshield wiper motion. And shake it out. From here, we're not going to do a whole lot more. We're just going to work on opening up the tops of the thighs and the hips a little bit. So from here, we're going to just come up onto the knees, stand up nice and tall on the knees, and then we can reach back and grab our calves. And we want the legs to be hip width apart. You can go a little more, but about hip width. Grab onto your calves and kind of move that meat off to the side and then start to sit back. If this is too intense, again, bring in a pillow and come down and maybe put that at the knees and try to sit right here and stretch out this part of our legs here. If this is fine for you and you're feeling good, you can start to walk those hands back. And again, just taking those deep breaths, keeping our alignment. You want to press up through the chest, deep breaths in and out. And you could go all the way down towards the ground if you'd like. But like I said, just stay where it is comfortable and kind of finding that edge and pushing that edge of comfort a little bit to open up. And then after that, I'll do a little bit of hip opening. And so that was all more pelvic floor focused. And so now we'll do a little bit of hip focus. And we will start to work on a gentle pigeon. So pigeon is my favorite because it just is really great for those glutes, opening up the sides of the hips. And you have some tea, so sip on some water or tea, whatever you got. And with this pose, we'll just do like we'll call it the lazy ladies way to get into pigeon's pose. We're not doing vinyasa or anything crazy today, so yeah, we'll just get into it in a gentle way. So we'll come on to all fours, and from here we'll start with the left leg. So we're gonna bring that left knee up towards the left elbow or left wrist, and then we're gonna bring that left ankle anywhere between the right wrist and the right hip. So it can be straight across with your mat, or it can be more of an angle there. However we feel most comfortable. So from here, we're just gently going to start to lift up through the toes of that right leg. And then we can just slowly creep that leg back, scooting ourselves back into our pigeon pose. So we can stay up like this if we'd like. And just bracing through the hands, taking deep breaths. If you do have the hands on the ground, just open those palms nice and wide. Opening, not clenching. If you'd like, you can kind of sit up into the hips a little bit and sink in. Really feeling that opening through the glute area, through the outer thigh. And taking those deep belly breaths. And if you'd like, you can also start to drop down onto the elbows. I'll extend my candle here so I don't light my hair on fire. And come down to the elbows and start to bring the head down. And again, taking those deep belly breaths wherever we are. So again, we're either down on the elbows or we're up in the hands. Either way, we're just taking those deep breaths. Now, if this is too intense, again, our trusty friend, the pillow, you can come up a little gently. And then once you find that, like where your knee and your ankle are going to be, you can bring a pillow in and place it right there under the hip. And you can start to sit back onto it. And then that's a little bit more of a gentler approach to opening that up if that pose is inaccessible the way that it is. So start here, and that will do that gentle massaging. And even if you can sit here and then come down onto the elbows and really let the elbows kind of come out to the side and just take those deep breaths. Because what you're doing with those deep breaths is you're pulling, the diaphragm pulls the lungs down, and it presses organs and everything else in the abdominal cavity down as it does so. And when we do that in this position, we're pressing them down, and it's also really giving our hips that nice massage as we inhale. And then when we exhale, we can kind of fall into that space that we just created a little bit more. And those fibers and everything loosen slowly, 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 slowly with each and every breath. And that's just science. That's not yogic craziness. That's literally exercise science. So that is why we also cue so much on that deep belly breath. Because if we're not doing that deep belly breath, we're not getting that deep stretching going on down there. We're not getting that chain reaction happening. So deep belly breaths, support when you need it. Love. So from here, we'd slowly come out. And again, this is one of those poses that's really beneficial to be in for about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 even if you can. And when we come out, we just come out nice and slow. We move that pillow out of the way. Come onto the hands and knees nice and gently. You can slowly uncurl that hip. You can stretch it out. You can come into a gentle child's pose where we bring the big toes together and sit back onto the hips like so. You can stretch into the shoulders a little bit here too. That always feels really nice. And you should feel some new space there in that left hip area. So now we'll slowly come up onto the hands and knees again, and we'll do the same thing on the right side. So we'll bring that right knee up towards the right wrist, right ankle anywhere between the left wrist and the left hip. And then you can slowly slide that left leg back, sitting up into our pigeon. If you need a pillow, grab a pillow and put that underneath your hip space so that you're a little bit taller. Or if you have a bolster or anything like that. So sitting back into the hips, opening up through the lower spine and through that hip area, taking those deep breaths. Let gravity do its work a little bit here. Mr. Mojo, you're so cute. He's an angel. Anyway, and then you can come down onto the elbows. And take some deep belly breaths. And if you feel any clenching in the belly or in the leg, really try to release that with your exhales. You can let your exhales come out of the mouth in a sigh, like, and that helps release muscle tension as well. It cues to the brain that you're safe and that you can relax that muscle, and that you're trying to relax that muscle, and that this is not a fight or flight situation, that this is just a gentle release. The hips are also known for carrying all of our emotional baggage and trauma that's unprocessed. So anything that we've just clenched onto and held onto and never let go of, if there are such things, we as humans, this area can be really tight and bring up a lot of emotions for or during release. And that's great. Just let them go. Just let everything go. Let it come up, acknowledge it, let it flow. You know, that's how it gets released, and that's how that tension really lets go. And that's how we can move deeper into these muscle tissues. So deep breaths, sinking in. And then whenever you feel ready, you can slowly, slowly come out. One hand at a time. And like I said, just slowly kind of inching that left foot forward, toe by toe, till you can pull that right leg out and extend. Place it down. You can shake it out. You can move the hips around. You can come back into that wide kneed child's pose where you bring the big toes together, spread the knees wide, and then sink back through the hips. And again, if this is uncomfortable, we can always bring in a pillow, placing that there, and getting the same release in this position. Taking a few breaths, opening up those shoulders. And we can slowly begin to come up, pulling the hands towards us. We can come into a seated position. If you'd like, you can shake those legs out again one more time, just kind of feeling the difference there. Maybe doing a little bit of a forward fold again, but making sure that those hips are down, legs are extended, toes are up, spine is straight. And I think that is all we need to start with for now. Working on those small things. And then if you feel so inclined, the one thing that does keep coming in my head is moon pose. So that is where we are. Again, you can just do this from a gentle place. I told you we're done. We're not done. Bring your right leg out in front of you. And if this hurts the knee, you can always like bring a blanket or like fold up a blanket. Literally, it doesn't have to be a fancy blanket. Here's my child's blanket. Not fancy. You can always put a blanket under the knee if the knee is uncomfortable in that position. Anyway, so bring that right leg in front of us. And then we want to inch that right foot forward. And then we slowly just want to drop down into the hips, opening up the top of this area. And again, we only want to go to where it's comfortable. So that might just, my knee's popping. That might just be like right here, or just leaning into it a little bit. But wherever we are, we don't want to be like caving into the spine or anything too much. We want to keep a straight spine. We want to be moving forward into that hip space. So wherever we're at, we want to try to balance ourselves. Bring the hands down to the side. Bring the chest up towards the sky. And take some deep breaths. And this one's great because really it's just your whole torso weight is what's doing all the work here and opening up that area. We can bring the hands around, place them down, and we can slowly come out. And again, we can just kind of shake it out. We can extend those legs out. If you want to do a down dog, you're welcome to do a down dog here. This would be a good space for us to do one. Just tucking the toes and bringing up through the hips. Extending back through the feet. Pressing back through the toes. And we want to be pressing through the palms as well. The ears are by the biceps. And we're kind of pulling ourselves up through the top of the hips. So this would be our proper down dog. If you want, you can alternate bending the knees, or what they call walking the dog. And then from here, we can slowly start to come down to the knees again. And then this time we'll switch to the left side. So bring that left leg up. And then we can stand up and start to move into that moon position or half moon position where we start to move in through the hips. You can place the hands on the knee there, or you can bring them down to the side. Just make sure that that spine is nice and straight and we're not like hunched over holding on to our knee. We want to be nice and straight. Taking those deep belly breaths. You can do about 5 deep breaths here. And again, we want those palms wide open while we're doing these motions. And then we can, on our next inhale, we'll inhale those arms around, place them down, start to bring that left leg back. And we can either go back into that down dog or you can go into a child's pose. Whatever feels best for you. Literally, that's all we're here for. You can walk out the dog if you'd like. And do whatever feels good. So sometimes we do what's called disco kitty, where you're on all fours like this, and then you just move through the shoulders or the hips or whatever, wherever, in any motion that you want. You can flow, you can just go wild, and it really does help feel out the entire like spinal column, shoulder blades, hips, all the things. And so as you move through yourself, you can kind of feel like, oh, this spot's a little tight or this spot's a little uneven or whatever. And it just really helps with mobility and with lymph node health because you're moving all different areas and spots of your body and twisting, and it's really helping all of that juice move around and get all the bad shit out, my friend. So do your little disco kitty. Do anything else that might feel good on the mat before you close your own practice. But otherwise, or just be done with the practice altogether at this moment. Whatever feels best for you. Or you already ditched on me. I'm teasing. Anyway, I hope that felt amazing to you. And I invite you to take a few minutes to either just sit in silence or lay down on your mat in silence. And then if you can't find silence, just close your eyes and make your own. So yeah, I hope this helps. And next time we'll do a little bit of an evolution based off of what we've done. Namaste. One love. Mwah. Thank you for being here today.